morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of QuaranTRAIN. We're going to stretch today. I actually have coffee today, so that's a huge plus from what I didn't have yesterday. So this is Beans. You guys met Beans yesterday. He will probably be chasing my shadows again today, and Gree will come out of the shadows. Oh, there he is. All right, one more sip of coffee, and then with no further ado, we'll get right into it. All righty. Put that somewhere I don't kick it over today, huh? All right, Beans, you're totally in the way, but I guess we'll start seated. Same as yesterday, just rubbing the hands together. Make some thermal energy. And go ahead and start massaging in the back of your neck. Just with those warm hands. Nice pressure through the traps. You can kind of massage down your back a little bit, down the sides of your shoulders, and then back up towards the neck. Awesome. Releasing that down, hands by your sides, just rolling that head side to side. Nice. Let's incorporate the body now, and a little bit more movement from the core, still moving through the neck. And once you can get as far as you can go, you're going to want to try and get your elbow to the mat on either side. Your tush should stay firmly planted and alternating elbows touch. My side body is not that flexy, but you guys might be able to get all the way down. And then settle in the middle. Reach those hands forward. Good morning, Gree. Sandwich your body forwards. Taking deep breaths in, exhaling out, lowering into the stretch. Awesome, roll yourself up, switch your foot that's on top, just for evening out your body, and resume that forwards fold. Deep breath in, exhale out, lowering with each breath. Inhale in, exhale out, getting into those kind of more of a glute stretch for me. Again, depending on where you're tight, you might feel it in different places. And roll yourself up. Awesome. Go ahead and swing yourself one way. I guess going into a nice, easy child's pose. Shimmying your body side to side. One armpit lowers more than the other each time you swivel your body. Now walk those hands forward into a puppy pose. Tush is above your knees. Shin is on the mat. Armpits are reaching for the mat. You're engaging through your core, so you're trying to stretch your upper back and your shoulders all the way through your armpits. Go ahead and go into a little deeper stretch by adding a little tense to your hands. And then let's grab through, and we're going to pull our body forward into our nice down dog. What am I talking about? This is a cobra. This does not look like a dog at all. Hands pressing into the mat. Sit your butt back. Slide your body forwards again to that puppy pose. Shifting forwards again into cobra. Lats down the back, shoulders away from the ears, lengthening through. Belly button is squeezing into the spine, protecting the back. Sitting the butt back again to child's pose. Now going in reverse, up into cobra. Lengthening again, pressing those shoulders down, lengthening the neck. Draw your hips back and up into puppy pose. Really working through the back today. And then go ahead and slide your tush back, unarching the spine. Great. Now with the cats here, it's perfect. We're going to go into some cat-cow. Going up on your hands and knees now. Make a nice cat back. And then arching the back, bringing your bun to your butt to cow. And pulling in and up through the belly button. Cat back, arching. Tail meets your bun. And just at your own pace, go ahead and go through a couple more cat and cow. Now we're going to roll through it. You're going to touch, you're going to reach your head and your butt in the same direction, drawing circles. All the way through your cat back and your cow. Reverse. Giant circles through the spine. And coming back to neutral. Awesome, tucking those toes under. You're gonna maybe take a couple steps forwards with those hands into our down dog. This is actually a down dog. Walking through your feet here. Step those feet wide to the edges of your mat. Armpits again down towards the floor, lengthening through the backs of the legs. Dropping those armpits, lifting the tail as much as you can. Now bend through the knees and straighten. Each time you're straightening, lengthening the backs of those hamstrings nice and long. Bending, straightening. As you bend, you can still be working on that arch and that lengthening through the armpits. And one more. Awesome. Walk the feet back in, nice and close. We're going to lift the left leg up nice and high. We're going to pulse that leg up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keeping the leg nice and lifted, knee high. 10, 9, kick butt. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting that leg nice and high. Up, 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 up. Reaching, reaching, reaching. All right, now we're going to step that foot down and we're going to lift the other leg up. Kick it up and draw it through into a lunge. So now we're on the same side. Whatever leg you were kicking to your behind space is now the leg that's in the back for your lunge. Hands to butt, abs pulled in and out, shoulders on top of those hips, lowering those hips down to the floor. Oh, I just realized I actually have yoga blocks here in my home, so maybe I'll incorporate them into my future videos, so you guys can see how to properly use them if you have them available to you. You guys see this gree underneath? What a goofball. Okay, yeah, that was a nice easy hip opener. Let's sit that butt back to hamstring, flexing the front foot. Let's shift side to side. You can kind of wag your tail as well as your foot. Now, just pinky toe to the mat, walk your hands off, really forward folding, arching through the back, trying to get that pinky toe to the floor. Excellent, walking ourselves forward again. We're returning back to the hip flexor. This time, from our lifted position, we're going to go into a little deeper stretch by grabbing that foot. Belly button pulling into the spine. Abs engaged, hips dropping to the floor. With each breath, try and get a little lower with those hips. Deep breath in. Exhale out. Lowering those hips. Deep breath in. Exhale out. Lowering those hips. All right. Now make sure your hand is firmly holding onto your foot. It can be one hand or both hands, it does not matter. What you're going to try and do now is keeping that action, pulling in with the foot, you're going to try and kick your foot away. Okay, so you're going to activate and you're going to be resisting the pull. 3, 2, 1. Push your foot into your hand for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, push 5, push 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Awesome. Go ahead and release the foot. Lowering the hips down to the mat again. Nice. Sitting the booty back. We're returning to our hamstring stretch here. This time we're going to do an over lunge. So go ahead and get yourself this knee back behind the butt like you're heading into the splits. Over lunge. Squeeze those hips into a square position. So it's like you're scissoring those legs together. See, this is kind of splayed open, and then boom, I squeeze and I engage those glutes, and likewise sliding my front hip back. Okay, so I'm super squared off, and I just want to feel what that feels like. Okay, now we're going to move our foot forwards about an inch, and maybe, let's say 2 inches. Same thing. So you're in a bit of an over lunge, and now we're going to pull that hip back, shoop, and we're feeling that stretch. You should be feeling that stretch increase in your hamstring, or even maybe in the back of the knee. Okay, again, depending on your flexibility. Perhaps you'll feel the back of the knee. And if you have your hands on blocks, which if I had them right now, they would be up there. Your weight would be a little bit more over top of your hips. Okay, so you might feel in the back of your hip flexor. And I should say the back hip flexor, not the back of your hip flexor. All right, same thing again. We're going to shoot that heel forwards about 2 inches. You might be a little bit open in those hips. Let's square them back off again. Deep breath in, exhale out. And sliding that foot back, maybe your heel forwards if you have more room in the front, maybe whichever way you want to slide is fine. All right, we're going to square the hips off. Shoop. I am super tight today from all that work we did yesterday. I'm just going to go ahead and flex and point my front foot while I'm here, just because it feels good. It's like I'm easing into the stretch of my hamstring without it being too abrasive, too much, too quick. All right, so continuing down, we're going to get even lower each time. Remember, each time you go lower, you're going to keep working on shoop, squeezing those hips into the squared off position, into the midline. We're going to hang out here for a while, so get comfortable. With each exhale, trying to lower yourself or get comfortable. It's okay if it doesn't get lower. You can just get comfortable where you are by accepting where you are, okay? So deep breath in. Exhale any of that negative energy out. Tell yourself, I can do it. I think I can, and just keep on keeping on. If you're in a position where you're all the way down with no problem, and you're not struggling the way I am, or maybe others are, you have the option to put your foot on a couple blocks right now. Slowly but surely getting myself back there. This back hip is not wanting to give today. If you feel like there's a spot that doesn't want to give, you can feel free to massage it and get a little bit of thermal energy in there, right? So the heat will make it feel really a lot more pliable, malleable, I guess is the word. You can have a little bit of water while you're down here, but just don't leave the position. Deep breath in, exhale out, lowering down even lower. Go ahead and shimmy side to side, rocking through the back hip. That may be where you need a little bit more of the work. Just gritting and bearing it. Means you don't want that, that's coffee. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and forward fold our body all the way into the inside, into our kind of splayed open splits. This is more like the Y spiral, the leg is to the side. Relative to your body, that is. You can sandwich your body all the way down or hold yourself up like I am. Gives the same effect, as long as you feel like you're massaging through that back hip and you're really working to open it in particular. rocking and rolling. It's optional, I suppose. You can flex or point your top foot. Kind of keep it neutral as well. Walk your hands back up. Deep breath in, lowest split you can. And sit your butt back into a straddle. Whee! Ease in out of the position. Your hips should feel very different from one another. This hip feels like it just went through, I don't know, went to a different universe and back. Okay, let's go ahead and forward fold. In your straddle position, belly button leads, booty sticks back behind you. Deep breath in, exhale out. Lower yourself slightly. Deep breath in, exhale out. Shimmying side to side. You can even cat-cow a little bit. Whatever feels comfortable here for you in this position. We're not going to spend quite as much time here. We're going to go ahead and work our way to the other side so we even ourselves out. Again, remembering belly button is leading in this stretch. All right. Body comes up. Swing your feet to the other side of your mat. Go up onto your hands and knees and tuck those toes under. Work your way up to down dog. Walking through your feet. All right, so whatever leg you had back before, the other leg is the one that's going to go up into the air. Okay, and we're going to pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keeping the leg nice and high. We're going to kick our butt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lifting that leg nice and high. Draw it down. Lift the other leg up. Kick it through. Step forward into your lunge. Just starting with an easy lunge. Hands will be planted on the hips to press them down. Square them off. Belly button pulled into the spine. All right, we're going to go ahead and back ourselves up. Hamstring stretch, flexing that front foot. Go ahead and start shimmying, wagging the tail, however you want to call it. Plant the pinky toe on the mat, walk those hands off the mat, lengthening through that IT band. The more we've been doing this, the better this feels again. So I'm glad I've been stretching a bit more with you guys. In a former life about 3 or 4 years ago, I was stretching every week, really consistently, these deep 1.5 hour flexibility sessions. They were amazing. It's amazing. You don't realize what you lose until you lose it sometimes. So do yourself a favor, go ahead and go back up into this high lunge. Do yourself a favor and do your best to never lose any flexibility you already have as a young person. Because as you age, it will go away if you don't maintain it. It doesn't magically stay. And don't give me any of those excuses that you don't have time, okay? Because you gotta make time, you gotta prioritize these types of things in life. It's more important than you realize. All right, hands are gonna go onto that back foot as you're drawing it into your butt, keeping those hips dropping low. You're gonna pull the foot in nice and strong. And now remember to stay active in this pull And you're going to kick your foot away from you towards the mat for 10 counts. Here we go. Pushing for 10 and 9, 8, 7, push, 6. Woo, I'm losing my center. 5, 4, pushing, 3, 2, 1, and release. Whew, nice. We're going to sit that butt back into our lunge, this time sliding the foot slightly forwards to a bit of an over lunge, beginning with that, remembering that we want to slice those legs back together, scissor them back together. So we're pulling that left, or I should say the front hip back and the back hip forward in order to square them off in this nice stretch. Excellent. Squeezing through the midline. All right, we're going to inch that foot forward about 2 or 3 inches. Same thing, pulling those feet towards the hips towards square. Keep that front foot relatively flexed. You're going to feel a little bit more stretch in the hamstring, or excuse me, in the calf as well. Or it'll deepen everything. It'll deepen the whole stretch on the back of the leg. Sliding that foot forward again, shoop, and squeezing yourself off into square. Deep breath in, exhale out. Each time you breathe, remember that you can work to accept the pain and just kind of dismiss it. All right, it is where you are and you're moving through it, and that's okay, right? You don't have to be like, this is unbearable, and just break out of the stretch. You can stay here. Mind over matter. Okay, sliding that heel forwards again. Shoop, squaring those hips off. Pulling that back hip forwards and the front hip back. I'm going to kind of walk my hands back a bit, trying to practice better habits here. All right, it's always a good idea if you have blocks to be using those blocks to keep your body up in this position. Okay, if you don't have blocks, it's a little bit more difficult to hold yourself there. But either way, definitely have one hand on one side, one hand on the other side. None of this business where you're really on square. All right, sliding that foot forwards again, even deeper into the stretch, and working to square off that back hip. Breathing through it, accepting the pain. Again, if you are at that point now where you are all the way down with relative ease, you can feel free to put your heel up on some blocks. I think my maximum that I was at when I did that deep stretching on the regular, I had my heel up on 2 blocks with the hips all the way down in a square split. And to get back there would be really awesome, but I would need to be training this a little bit more regularly. At least I'm training it once a week with you guys. But you can see even once a week is not enough. I suppose we do splits or some of these stretches in our cool downs, but we could be doing it more. Okay, so what we do together does not need to be your bare minimum. You're absolutely more than welcome to do more stretching, more conditioning, more off-ice jumps, and so forth. All right, this has been lovely. I think we're going to stay here for a couple more minutes. We'll first go into our little side position for the first couple minutes of our last bit here. In this kind of, I guess this is a bit of an unsquared off split now because your back hip's going to open up. Just think about dropping that belly button more and more towards the mat. That will get us in the position where the leg is more to our side space and better positioned to be in an I or a Y. Again, option to flex or point, whatever you want. Feel free to rock from hip to hip to feel the stretch go more into the hip flexor and then back into the hamstring. Awesome. Coming back on up. Let's spend a little bit more time here in this squared off position, just for good measure. Breathing through. All right, this time, instead of going to our straddle, we're going to just go right on over into the middle split. Putting your weight into your hands, picking yourself up. All right, I'm going to slide off my mat if I keep going. All right, cool. So wherever you are in your middle split is totally fine, as long as you are working on keeping your heels and your hips in a straight line, okay? So from your heel to heel connection, your tush should be in that line, so you're making a straight line. Deep breaths in, exhale out. Lowering yourself even lower into this. Keep your weight in your hands, or you're more than welcome to walk your weight into your forearms. If your weight's in your forearms, don't get lazy about pushing into it. Don't like lean off of it, okay? Keep those hips back, keep those hips dropping. We're gonna hold this for about 20 more seconds before we shimmy our way out. Go ahead and walk your hands even further forward, shoot, and lower yourself down. Knees come to the mat, feet come back together into this nice little diamond-shaped froggy pose. In your froggy, you're going to want to try and keep your toes on the ground, and you're going to lower your hips to the mat. One of my hips is feeling very, very interesting right now. I'm going to just massage through it for a second, make sure nothing is wrong. You gotta listen to your body, guys. So if anything feels really just weird and off, not just stretchy, but like actually feels like it's a pain that like you're going to pop something, like listen to your body and like shift around and make sure that nothing bad is actually going to happen there. Okay, listen to your bodies. That said, don't be like, oh, this stretch hurts, so I'm just going to leave the stretch. Okay, you have to kind of have a awareness of the difference between this hurts because it's stretchy versus this hurts because I might injure myself. Having that kind of body awareness is key in skating, or any sport for that matter. All right, hands walking ourselves back. We're gonna bring those knees together. Oof. And go ahead and just sit there for a second. Oh, that felt really nice. Deep breath in. Exhale out. I really want to get into a little foot stretch, but I need a yoga block for it, or a towel. Okay, how about take a moment, get a sip of water, and or a yoga block, and or a towel, whatever you have lying around. Or I guess we could use a pillow. Hooray, I found them. Okay, so if you don't have yoga blocks, that's okay. But if you do, bonus. You could use a rolled up towel. You could use, I guess, several pillows. The good thing about a yoga block is it's very rigid. If you don't have any, you should order some. Okay, Amazon still delivers even in this crazy time. All right, tuck your toes on. Point them, and then what I want you to do is squeeze your heels together. You're just gonna sit back on those heels, lengthening through the fronts of the feet, using the weight of your body and stretching the fronts of those toes. Okay, you might want to shift your foot around, make sure it's in a place that's pretty comfortable for you. It's not going to be the most comfortable thing in the world, but you don't want to be at a point where you feel like, again, too much pressure on one part of the bone. All right, so once you've situated yourself, I'm just going to shimmy a little bit further back here. This is better. Remember, guys, I broke my 5th metatarsal a couple years ago, so I don't want to be snapping any bones here. All right, heels are squeezing in towards the midline. As you shift your weight back, they are going to separate. So you just aim to keep them together as you lower your weight into the feet and hang out there. Stretching the fronts of those feet. You can shift your weight back a little bit. Gregory, are you in my light? Because you don't see a cat ear on the wall. If he was back a little, we'd see a fun shadow. All right, shifting that weight back a little bit more. Remember to squeeze those heels towards one another as best as you can. Again, they're going to come apart, which is totally fine. You have to just aim to be squeezing them together. Awesome. Shift your weight forwards. You might want to shift your foot slightly in on the yoga block to get a little bit of a different stretch. I was getting a stretch in the very top of my foot, and now I'm getting a stretch further down. The further you are towards your toes, the more it's going to feel like an extreme stretch. So just listen to your body. Don't overstretch anything. Awesome. In hindsight, we should have really done this before we did the split. Then we could have some beautiful pointed toes in our splits. Go ahead and take your feet off. Tuck those toes under. Flex them. Make them feel normal again. Go ahead and sit on your butt. Roll out your foot. Rolling it both ways. Feels lovely. Other foot. Nice. I love that stretch for me personally. Just it really kind of gets even into my tibialis, which is the muscle that we use when we flag our foot, right? And so if you were working through that stretch and you feel it all the way up through here, that likely means that you've been working hard on the on flagging your feet whenever we do nice stretchy, nice landing position related things. Awesome. Okay, so since I have the yoga blocks, I'm gonna just do one more stretch because I need it personally, and so you guys might too. I'm gonna do a hip flexor stretch. This one, I sit on my yoga blocks and I tuck one foot under, and you might actually be able to do this without blocks, but my hips, as if you may have noticed, are quite tight. So I have to keep easing into these things. You're gonna have one foot extended forward, one foot extended back. I sit my booty on the yoga block. The front leg is sitting on the yoga block. The other leg is tucked directly under my tush. Then I can use this one under my back somewhere as I lower myself down. So it's gonna be a nice hip flexor stretch for the top leg. All right, you guys see where I'm at here? Okay, my shoulders are here so that I'm not just arched over. I want to keep my back as flat as I can. It's gonna want to arch, and so I just have to squeeze my belly button in, shortening my rib hip connection. The next thing I want is to lower this knee all the way to the mat, which you guys can see my knee is lifted. Okay, so the goal is to be able to pull this foot underneath me enough that my knee goes more and more towards the mat. As my knee goes to the mat, my back wants to arch. So this is kind of a push-pull action. I have to actively be pulling my abs in and pushing my knee down to lengthen through the front of that hip. So I'm just gonna hang out here for a little while. It feels so lovely. All right, you may be able to do this without any blocks underneath you. You may be that flexible that this is no problem. Your foot just goes shoop right up next to you. Kind of like, you know how babies sit on their butts with their knees like an M shape and they have no problem because their ligaments allow for that. Well, my ligaments do not. So you gotta listen to your body. You gotta target the areas that you need and you work a little bit harder on those areas. So when you guys are following me with my stretches, I get to target some of my areas. All right, that said, like I said before, feel free to be stretching more than what we're doing here today. Stretch more in your life, figure out your target areas, and make sure that you're working towards improving whatever it is that you need. Those of you guys doing like Bielmans and such, and you're not quite there yet, got lots of back flexibility exercises that we've done together before that maybe we don't get to in these. Okay, make sure that you remember to work on those if that's your goal, just as an example. I could stay here all day. This feels so therapeutic and lovely. Deep breath in, exhale out, lengthening again, working on engaging through the core, lengthening the front of that hip, dropping that knee down to the mat. All right, I'm gonna not remove myself from this situation too quickly. Oh, also just while we're here, another addition you can add on is you can actually pull this knee into the chest and do a full split action here. But you guys can see that that is like barely in my realm of possibilities. But if this is easy for you, feel free to go ahead and add that leg lift where you're pulling your heel in. This is enough for me for now. Maybe if we are in quarantine for another 6 weeks, I could get a little further on this. I don't want to be in quarantine for 6 more weeks. Okay, we're going to shimmy ourselves out of this. You're going to move the block to the other butt cheek, boop, and you're going to reach that foot underneath on the opposite side. So now we are in the opposite side hip flexor stretch, lowering that left knee in my case, or whatever one is the bent knee, towards the mat. You're pulling your foot in towards your shoulder. Abs are engaged to shorten the rib hip connection and lengthening through the front of the hip to get that knee to the floor. I guess, again, this is one of those things, if you don't have yoga blocks, you can always just plop yourself on some kind of firm pillows. That might feel really nice and squishy. Keep taking those deep breaths in, accepting that pain, accepting where you are, and just dismissing it. Let it go. Or maybe this is just really comfortable for you, and that's cool too. Deep breath in, exhale out. Like any other time, if something feels super tight and you want to just give it a little rub with your hands, you can add a little bit of heat to the equation, which can kind of help release and give some relief to those muscles or whatever tissue, ligaments, what have you, fascia. All right, this feels excellent. I'm going to go ahead and roll myself out of here. Shoop. Oh, I guess I could have done the other little knee thingy, but that's okay. Okay, lifting my tush, removing the block, slowly but surely making my way out. What? All right, in conclusion, the last thing I want to do is kind of combining that nice little hip flexor action we just did with the pointed toes. I want to see how extreme of a Charlotte spiral you can make for yourself. Charlotte spiral being the standing split. Okay, you can keep your fingertips on the mat, or if you want, you can go ahead and grab it in. Start with a nice pointed toe. You guys should feel like you can point it nicely. Lift that leg up high as you can, lengthening through the back of the hamstring. Deep breath in, exhale out, lifting that leg higher. Deep breath in, exhaling out, lifting that leg higher, seeing how high you can get that leg up. Trying to go for a full split. All right, and release. Opposite side. This should be my good side. I don't know if it's going to go any higher though. Pointing that toe nicely. Maintaining that point as you lift. Getting comfortable. Deep breath in. Exhale up. Pulling yourself into a higher split. Firing up that quad, lengthening through the front of the hip. Deep breath in. Exhale up. I think this one is a little higher. Deep breath in. Exhale up. Awesome. And lowering down. Super good. All right, so that's some good deep hip action. A little bit of hamstring, a little bit of booty. Not really booty, more hip. Hip and hamstring, a little bit of feet. Awesome. Feel free to text me if there's any particular target area that you want me to hit that I haven't been hitting in these kind of deeper stretch sessions. I'm going to keep working these splits because that's where I know a lot of you guys have like hamstring issues, not fully being able to straighten those legs when you think you are or whatever else. But yeah, let me know if there's any particular thing that you guys want me to focus in on a little bit more, and I'll try and target that for next week. All right. Otherwise, look for an email from me with the Zoom link for tomorrow's episode, seeing as we are not going to meet on YouTube tomorrow for the specialty class. All righty. I will see you guys all mañana. Ooh, this bun has done something special. All right. Well.
Miss you all. See ya. Bye.